Coming up today on the Locked On Hornets podcast, we give you some stray observations. And ESPN, you can't just dump bad assets onto our roster. We'll explain more. Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We are free and available anywhere you get your pods, and that includes YouTube. There's Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Go check out his Substack. Also, go check out the show he helps produce, Yahoo Sports Daily, with Caroline Fenton and Jason Fitz. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And thanks to you, the listener, for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network out there. Stray observations. I like this because I found a couple of little nuggets that I was quite interested in over the last couple of days or so. I am prepping for the Chicago Bulls matchup tonight. I'll be on the broadcast. Say hello if you're out there. But I was looking at some of the observations, and lo and behold, you, me, we are in sync, you and I. And you decided that this would be a good A-block segment. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about your stray observations. Lead us off here. What you got, Doug?
Yeah, hopefully I put some clues for myself. I didn't want to reveal some of the answers to these stray observation questions that I had, so hopefully I remember them. The first one that I have for myself here in the rundown is Kon Knueppel is riding the points per shot attempt roller coaster right now, and there is a very clear reason for that.
Can I guess? To be fair, I saw that you had this topic. Mm-hmm. I saw that you had this observation, and I have my own thoughts. Is this a I can guess type of segment, or did you just want to reveal to the people what it was?
Yeah, you can definitely guess and see if you can think about what was on my mind. But I just want to, his usage, it's not his usage, because that has been pretty consistent throughout the season, and he has been a very high usage player. He is the gem that we've been looking for as Hornets fans, high usage player that is also high points per shot attempt average player, meaning efficient offensive player, while at the same time, because LaMelo Ball has not been that for a couple of seasons. Brandon Miller has struggled in that department. Miles has struggled mightily in that department. So, and all at the root of all of the Hornets offensive problems has been guys who have the ball in their hands the most have not been very efficient offensively. Guys who have the ball in their hands the least have been efficient offensively. Okay.
No,
but he's been on a bit of a roller coaster. I just want to run this down really quick. So against Denver, he was in the 33rd percentile in terms of points per shot attempt. Against Toronto, that big win, 111-86, huge, 85th percentile, 161.5. Then 23rd, then 33rd, then another big one, that overtime win against Toronto. He just loves the Raptors. 153.8, that's 82nd percentile. It goes on and on, up, down, up, down, up, down. So lately he's been on the roller coaster. Why do you think that is?
Well, Toronto throws a wrench in my guess, because at the beginning, perhaps before the last two Toronto games, it felt like he would struggle when you had teams that were very good protecting the paint and had a whole bunch of athletic wings that could defend you. It felt like that was the matchup that he would struggle with the most. And that's why I thought, all right, well, this is why Kon is struggling, until you just brought up a couple Raptors games that he had. So I don't know if I don't know if that's right anymore after the Raptors game, but I would have thought it was because the teams that he struggled against have really tough perimeter guards that are long and athletic out there on the wing.
I think that's part of it. And they're keeping him further away from the rim than he has been able to get in some of these games where he has been a more effective player. And so that's part of it. But the part that I was thinking of is that he's just not getting to the line very much. And maybe that's just part of his game right now, and maybe he develops it a little bit more. He has had stretches where he's gotten to the line a little bit, but generally this season, he doesn't make many trips to the line. And I think that's part of going back to our conversation that we had yesterday about Cooper Flagg, basically rising above Kon Knueppel in the rookie ladder. Part of the stretch that Cooper has been on that has allowed him to do that has been a result of him more frequently getting to the line, getting those easy, efficient points that get you over the 20-point per game mark more effectively, more consistently. Kon, 2 free throws in each of his past 3 games, then 0, then 6, then 0, then 2. It's been about 2 or 3 free throw attempts for him generally per game. And so if that increases, watch out for Kon Knueppel.
Yeah, so it kind of goes hand in hand, to be honest, right? If you're talking about some of those guards not allowing him into the paint, because they have been very good paint protecting teams, and he has to rely on his outside shot, which that's what he's known for anyway. But I like that. Yeah, I think all of that makes sense to me. One of my stray observations, it's not about Kon Knueppel, but I'll turn the page to another guard. I was looking at some of the Tidjane Salaun numbers when I did my solo episode with buying stock. He's shown us some stuff here. Really, it's just about hitting shots. That's what I focused on. They're asking him to hit shots from deep, and they're asking him to get out in transition. Those are the 2 things. Don't focus on anything else. Let's keep it simple. Those are the 2 things you have to do offensively to stay on the court. Looking at some of the catch and shoot numbers, Doug, Tidjane Salaun right now is at 1.5 points per possession when he has a catch and shoot opportunity through 11 games. Quite good. It leads the team, and it leads the team by a lot. Okay. What also is interesting is that that's on low volume, to be fair. Colin Sexton is second on the list at 1.3, almost 1.4 points per possession on catch and shoot opportunities, except he's only taken 37 field goals. So you're talking about just, barely a couple of field goal attempts per game on catch and shoot opportunities. I think that number has to go up. Just in terms of what would you like Charles Lee to tinker with a little more? It would be different if this is the only season that we've seen those numbers quite good for him. That's not the case. He's actually been good on catch and shoot opportunities with Utah and really has been for the last 5-6 years of his NBA career. I guess he's a 7-year vet, something like that. So just tapping into more threats from the outside rather than relying on Kon. Brandon Miller doesn't have a consistent shot right now. LaMelo's in and out of the lineup. All of a sudden, the shooting isn't as plentiful as you would like it to be. With Colin, I think you can get there. There's a lot of mid-range jumpers from him. He likes the ball in his hand. We're experimenting with point guard Colin. Cool, I understand it. I'd like to run some more action where you just have Colin in the corner. He's 5 of 10 from three-point range in the corner. Maybe we explore a little bit more with that. But just another stray observation for me regarding a perimeter player. Let's get him some more set shots from deep. I think it'll pay dividends.
I would be interested in the frequency in those 3 years in Utah for catch and shoot opportunities, if it was at the same level, less or more. Because one of the observations that we made before we ever saw Colin Sexton play was guy who can effectively hit threes, but it's been low volume, and that almost seems by design, that he wants to get to the paint and sometimes wants to make mid-range shots. And one of the difficulties for him this season is that his ability to hit those mid-range shots has dipped pretty significantly. I mean, the
mid-range hadn't been great. Yeah,
he was 47% from mid-range, which was in the 80th percentile for wings in his last season in Utah. And that has gone to below average, 41%, 45th percentile in those same looks for Charlotte. And the three-point percentage has gone down. He's been extremely effective at the rim, and that meets the eye test. But yeah, his three-point shot and his mid-range shot, just his shot in general, has not been as locked in as it was in Utah.
Yeah, looking at Colin's numbers last year on catch and shoot, it was 1.2. It was second on the team behind Sensabaugh. But the frequency, it was 127 total shots. I guess, what are we talking about here? Let me do the math. It was about 37.
About a quarter way through the season now.
Yeah, I was told there'd be no math. It looks like, it's about the same, I guess, surface level math. So either way, maybe this is the coach that actually taps into it more. Hey, if you're very good at this volume each of the last however many seasons, maybe we just explore that more. It would be different if Brandon was in the lineup all the time and was healthy. LaMelo was in the lineup all the time and was healthy. You could rely on Sion as consistently. It just would help to have more threats there. Either way, something that was interesting to me when combing across the numbers.
I get a sense and I could totally be wrong. This is total Spidey sense for me. So go look at the numbers if you'd like, if you have access to them, and report back to me. But I get a sense that this is generally the volume, and there's probably a reason for that. I have a box of blueberry checks down in my cabinet, and every time I pour myself a bowl, I'm like, this is delicious. But I know that there is a law of diminishing returns, that if for the next 6 weeks I bought only blueberry checks and only ate that in the morning, at some point I'm going to get sick and tired of blueberry checks. The allure of blueberry checks is going to wear off, and I've got to switch it up with some corn checks or some rice checks or some regular checks.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like Colin Sexton from 3, Colin Sexton catch and shoot. I just feel like all of that is like there's a certain level, and they probably after this many seasons figured that out for him, and they're going to keep it at that.
I mean, I don't know if they've ever gone the extra mile and poured just a little bit more to see if they'd still look good. I'm just try it. Maybe you're right, but let's experiment with it a little bit more. You might be right. I am giving in to temptation. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
ESPN just hates us so much. We have more sources. We have now Jake Fisher saying that he's got sources that are saying that we have unserious basketball players. We'll get through the disrespect nationally coming up next, LOH. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is it is usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You pull up the app, the layout makes it simple to scroll through the matchups, and you can compare seat views. You can pick a game, tap a section, and have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for fine print. The seat view feature is a game changer too. You literally see what the pitch looks like from your exact seat before you buy. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time. This episode is also brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. And this is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of running a business and think there has to be a better way. There is. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo, QUO, the smarter way to run your business communications. If you're ready to make your workday smoother and keep customers connected without the headaches, Quo makes upgrading your setup easier than ever. A streamlined system makes such a big difference when communicating with customers. That's where Quo comes in. Having calls, texts, and voicemails in one clean view keeps everything organized and helps you stay responsive. Being able to share one team number makes it so much easier as well to make sure nothing gets missed. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, you can get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO. Quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. More Locked On Hornets ahead. ESPN trying to make us dumping ground again. We'll get into it, but not before we talk about the Everydayers Club. We appreciate everybody for your support, as always. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today. Get Locked On Hornets with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. It's your choice. What you can do is you can go to lockedonhornets.supercast.com, lockedonhornets.supercast.com, or you can check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, now's the time we got to talk about the disrespect.
Wait, hold on. Before we get to the strays, because they are aplenty, you can go ahead and take your board and put it to 0 again. Your world famous days without a Hornet stray board, okay? We're going to get to that in a second. I do have one more stray observation before we get to the strays.
Please share.
I want to inform the people. So here's another question for you. It's another guessing game.
Okay.
The Hornets have played 24 games this season. How many of those games do you think that they finished with an above average transition frequency? Before you answer that,
Oh my God, yeah.
we have to think back to the beginning of the season when we were all told, this is the year. It's finally the year. This was going to be a team that plays fast. Roadrunner, beep, beep. They're going to get up and down the floor like never before. How many of those games, 24 games played, how many do you think they've been above average in transition frequency?
You know what happened? If you're going to reference Roadrunner, what happened is they said that they were going to fly around, and instead Wile E. Coyote triggered the gun and bang came out, except it was just a white flag with the word bang. It wasn't actually a fast-moving thing. The Hornets are not fast-moving things. At least they don't play like it. They have the capability, but they don't play like it. Man, this is a great question because I'm so mad at myself for falling for it. Every year.
We are the Coyote. We are the Coyote.
I ran right into the painting of the road that is
The train
supposed to
tunnel,
continue
yeah.
to go on. But that's what happened. I ran right into it. But that's the issue is what everybody loves to do nationally on their NBA podcast is say, well, everybody comes into the season saying that they're going to run and gun. They're going to get more possessions. They're going to have this extremely fast pace. Except I was the person saying, no, it's real this time. It's going to happen. They have to play this way. I fell so – it's not that I fell for it. It's that I fell hard. It's that I fell from a skyscraper. Anyways, how many games?
Oh, make a guess.
I mean, 6.
Oh, you nailed it. Wow.
I didn't fall for that
gosh.
one.
We did not talk about this at all. 6
Yeah.
is the correct answer. They won 3 of those games. And then also if you look at points per play, so how effective were they in transition? Also 6 games where they were above average in points per play in transition. And that's all transition, off live rebounds, off. The only thing that Cleaning the Glass doesn't measure, and this has actually become a significant part of teams' pace game, is just off made baskets. I mean, people run off made baskets now, so it doesn't count that. But off live rebounds, off steals. 6 games, they've been effective. Not the same 6 games. 6 games, they've tried really hard, and 6 games, they've been effective at it.
Yeah, it just hasn't happened. Every time, you know what? It's every time I go to Cleaning the Glass and look at the game reports, which have been excellent, and it's oftentimes in the blue. Like every time I look at pace and it's in the blue.
And Sam Purley tweeted this today out of practice. Charles Lee adds that offense has also been a focus this week with the 4 days off, specifically getting back to playing with pace, quick outlets, pass aheads, across, shift and paint reads, and offensive rebounding, which has slipped a little bit lately. And we should say, in fairness to the Hornets, they did try in the early portion of the season to play with pace. I mean, that win, the 2 early wins, the blowout wins against Brooklyn and Washington, those 2 games were played at a absolutely blistering pace. They just haven't been able to hold it, and part of that is probably losing LaMelo Ball for portions of the season. He is one of the engines that makes that pace go.
Well, and again, how do you get faster? One, LaMelo Ball's presence on the floor makes you faster. But the other part of this is Colin Sexton, and if you look at the on-off numbers for him, there are times, was it against the Bulls? God, it was one of these games at home. I don't think it was against, I think it was against the Bulls after the Knicks monstrosity where he was just making things happen. I mean, he would put the pedal to the metal and then just like scramble the defense. Oh God, Colin Sexton has the ball. All right, we got to get back. Oh wait, who am I supposed to go get? And he made things happen by just being faster than everybody. Man, here we are focusing on Colin. It does feel like some of that speed from Colin has kind of gone away as it affects the team. And maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know if the numbers match that up in the last, 10 games in terms of trends, but it felt like we saw a lot speedier process from Colin, and that affected the defense, which then benefited the offense. I don't feel like I see that as much.
I mean, much harder to trap and, hedge and push Kon Knueppel out of the middle of the floor. It's harder to do that if you're playing in transition and playing less in half court. That's where they've been effective in doing. That's where defenses have been effective in doing that. And so it just benefits everyone if they can play a little bit faster.
They are faster with him on the floor. I will say all transition frequency, but it's like plus 0.5. Like it's not a lot. It's not a ton. Off steals is where he really helps. Live rebounds, you get out there a little bit more, but again, yeah, still
they're faster in transition. They're faster in transition with him on the floor. They're also faster like in the half court. He reminds me.
Yes.
Like when he can get loose and get into the and just cause chaos. He reminds me of like one of those lab mice that are running the maze. Like he's just running all over the place, and then he finds a dead end, and then he turns around and he tracks back and he goes through. He's just a lab mouse looking for a piece of cheese. That's Kon Knueppel, and it makes for better offense. But I think it has to start with them playing faster.
Yeah, Colin Sexton to be clear. Yeah, but yeah. Like
I'm talking about Kon Knueppel.
Oh, okay. All right. I was talking about
Colin Sexton. Did I say
Sexton.
Colin Sexton? I was saying that would unlock.
I said Colin. All right.
I said playing faster would, and if I said Colin, I apologize. If they play faster, it would also unlock more from Kon Knueppel because it would be harder to affect him in the way that defenses have been able to affect him.
Maybe it was me not listening that time. I raised my hand.
It happens.
Maybe that was the case. ESPN, they hate us. Tell us why, Doug.
It's because this silly trade. So they did this article, 5 trades for Anthony Davis, and they hooked me. I'll be honest. Whoever, maybe it was AI, maybe it was somebody else, they hooked me with this one. So, of course, I'm looking for the Charlotte Hornets in any one of these trades. And sure, they showed up in one of these trades. Golden State gets the big prize in Anthony Davis. They also get Mason Plumlee. All right, Charlotte Hornets involved here. They're dealing Mason Plumlee again. Dallas Mavericks get Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and a 2026 first-round pick. Well, surely there's got to be another pick hanging around here for the Hornets, right? The Los Angeles Lakers get Buddy Hield. That's interesting. Give them a little bit more offensive punch. Not sure what that does for their defense, which was the problem in their NBA Cup elimination loss. Here's the Charlotte Hornets, the 4th team. They get Maxi Kleber, Dalton Knecht again? Are you sure? Are you sure, LA? I don't know. You have to double check. No take backsies this time. And they get cash from Los Angeles, which is just a suitcase marked, sorry for Mark Williams. Sorry about that Mark thing. But that's the trade. It's just like, we are not, ESPN, we are not your dumping ground to make these ridiculous trades work. Okay, that's not going to fly here on Locked On Hornets.
Just again, AD Mason Plumlee going to Golden State, Draymond Kuminga first round pick from Golden State going to Dallas in 2026.
Dallas crushes in this one.
Lakers get Buddy Hield, which is what they should have done in the Russell Westbrook offseason. Instead of going after Buddy Hield, they went for Westbrook, and that was a real disaster. And now the Hornets get Kleber, Dalton Knecht, and we get some cash. That's what we get. All right. Well,
they're like,
we can give you some more.
Whoever wrote this was like, the Hornets, they really want Dalton Knecht. I mean, they are dying for Dalton. They'll do anything for Dalton Knecht, including just being involved in this very weird deal.
I mean, I guess they're not giving anything up, right? It's. I guess they're getting rid of Mason. That's the only person they're giving up. If you want to give us Dalton, that's fine. I mean, we can talk more about it coming up.
I just don't think Dalton's been very good. I mean, you're
right. I mean, it does. The point still stands. It does feel like hey, where do we put this? I don't know. Can you just go to the dump? Like, just go to the dump because we don't have any room here anymore.
You go to that place they put that Hugo statue, right? That was all like broken and mangled. Like that's where Maxi Kleber and Dalton Knecht and a bag full of cash go.
It's going to be a North Carolina rabbit hole column written about Dalton Knecht face down in that dumping ground over there. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
All right, we're done, right? We're done with strays or direct insults? No? We're going fishing? All right, We'll see what we catch. Coming up next, Locked On Hornets. This episode is brought to you by ZocDoc. Guys, it's 2025. It's almost 2026, and those days of waiting for something to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, they're over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending that weird shoulder stiffness that you have. You're just sleeping on it wrong. No more of that. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that easier than ever. Because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's about actually getting things checked out when something feels off. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. Search for in-network doctors, and you can book right in the app. Real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. No more back and forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. And you get super helpful. It is super helpful for routine checkups and those little issues you've been meaning to get checked out. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to zocdoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Have the Hornets considered calling ZocDoc? That's my question. Have they done everything else except for call our guys at zocdoc.com? Just saying, might be helpful. Feel free to take that advice. Going fishing. We have a big one here, Doug. Like, what do we got over there with Jake fishing? Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a boot.
Yeah, I was about to say it feels it's a tree bass, right? Back when we would go fishing and then I would get the lure stuck on a limb that was dangling over the lake/river. I had a buddy who his grandpa would say, "Looks like you caught a tree bass." Classic, just good old Catawba County humor. Feels like we caught a tree bass with this one. What you got, Doug?
Looks like you caught a tree bass.
Ah, dude, it hits home. It's just a warm blanket.
Yeah, see,
Looks
I knew
like
you were obligated
to
do that in your radio voice, so I went ahead and hit you with a little accent there.
Catawba County. Right
yeah,
at home.
so now I don't know if that was Catawba. That was the best like Gastonia that I could give you. I don't know if those accents differ.
I mean, I don't want to say they're all the same, but you think they're different? Like,
I don't know.
Lincoln County, I feel like it travels. Catawba going into Lincoln, going into Gaston. It's all varying forms of that. Then you get to Mecklenburg, and then, that's a little different. Then it comes to a hard stop.
Okay. Yes, this is from Jake Fisher, and this was on a podcast that he was doing. And the subject was Sacramento Kings trade opportunities. And they, speaking of dumping grounds, they are famously a dumping ground for troubled assets, or at least speculated as one. But what Jake was alluding to here is that actually, while management may still be a little Fruit Loops, the general management that they have there is trying their best to establish a better culture in Sacramento. And so when he was talking about LaMelo Ball potentially being traded there, he said, quote, "Someone I was speaking to this morning on the phone called LaMelo Ball the most unserious player in the NBA. That's not my opinion. That was one prominent cap person in the NBA."
Okay.
Unquote.
I mean, I don't know about you, man. I just, whatever. Like, every time we have this comment, because we've seen this comment, I don't know how many times this year. I don't know how many times this tenure for LaMelo. But every time we see this comment or hear it, it's always from somebody that does not have any knowledge about the organization. All they are people outside of the team. Every time. Even from Kelly Iko, the first person to actually go report something substantial and it be from somebody credible, like to give him credit on it. Even when we clicked on the Kelly Iko headline, LaMelo frustrated with new style of play, it was much more about what other people were saying. League sources, not team sources. It's always league sources, Doug. It's never Hornet sources. Every single time we hear something about this, and until I hear something that is reported because of what team sources are saying about LaMelo's character, then I'm just always going to brush this off my shoulder.
Someone I was speaking to this morning. Honestly, I didn't know those were the rules. I didn't know that you could just speak to someone on the phone and then get on a microphone and say that one of the most notable players in the NBA was the most unserious player. But here's the thing. It has to, if you're going to do that, now I know the rules. If you're going to do that, it has to be a prominent cap person. Now, look, I've got a lot of caps behind me. Maybe it was me. Maybe I'm the prominent cap person.
You are a cap guy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it rhymes with hobby sharks. I don't know. I don't know who the prominent cap prominent cat. Every time I say prominent cat person, I laugh inside, and then sometimes it comes out as a laugh on the outside. One prominent cat person. What does that even mean? Oh,
I don't know.
Unserious player in the NBA.
Most. Yeah, but well, look, and all right. So if I were to give any leeway here, it would be that Jake Fisher is what if you have a tier 1 of NBA newsbreakers, maybe Shams is in a group all by himself. Then you go to the second tier. I don't know. I'm sure there are names I'll be forgetting, but like a Chris Haynes or some of the more prominent NBA beat writers out there. Maybe they're in tier 2. Jake Fisher feels like he belongs there, if not in tier 3. Maybe we'll give you our NBA reporters rankings on Rank Radio segment the next episode that we publish. But Jake Fisher, when he says something, it is notable, right? He does have sources. So when he says something or anything, when he says anything, there is potential for that to get aggregated. And that is the understanding, even though I understand that you always say, please aggregate me. Please. Jake Fisher.
Please aggregate this prominent cap person. Have you seen how many caps I own?
Yeah, like your podcast is Please Aggregate Me. Jake Fisher literally had a podcast called Please Don't Aggregate This. And this is kind of like somebody did it, and then here we are talking about it. To be fair, maybe he's just like, hey, in passing, I talked with this one person. They said, but it felt like there was some kind of message to it, which is why we're talking about it. Either way, it's always league sources. It's never team sources every single time.
Well, and what I always say to this idea that he's unserious is that I sort of get where it's coming from.
Yes.
Just watching him play can at times look unserious, and he makes mistakes that are rooted in his own frustration over his play, and those mistakes, like if you were to put them side by side with, Oklahoma City at their best in the playoffs, or any playoff team that has won playoff rounds, it doesn't look as serious. But also, he hasn't been on the floor nearly enough to battle back some of these things. That's the tragic thing for me, is that it's really hard for me to get on this microphone and argue against this idea because I don't have enough evidence. I don't have him in a playoff series at all. I have him in a couple of play-in games. But it's just that's the difficult thing for me. And we've been talking this week a lot about the future with LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets, and it's why at this point, I think it's you're well within your right to wonder, even seriously wonder, if the Hornets and LaMelo Ball would be better off separating, moving on, figuring out a way to move forward without each other, because we're just so deep into this thing at this point without any results.
Yeah, I totally get all of that. That is the part that does make sense. That'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your podcast. That includes YouTube. Go check out Doug Branson, Every Hornets Boxscore. That's his Substack. Also, go check out Yahoo Sports Daily with Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Don't
follow
make us
me
your
on
dumping
X
ground.
at one prominent cat person.